This one is going to be the Gray Book, hymn number 361. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Please join me as you are so able. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Thank you all very much. Our next one is also in the Gray Book. It is 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And this one's two parts, so everyone needs to participate. There's the drone first, which is going to be anyone who wants to join with Aaron, the deeper voices. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though we've broken our vows 1,000 times. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. One more time. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. I don't know the Spanish to this one yet, sorry.
You didn't tell me you had to sing that part 1,000 times.
It's good exercise for you. All right. Oh, let us gather at this river. Let us gather one by one. Let us gather at this river. Let us gather one by one. Oh, let us gather at this river. Let us gather one by one. Let us gather at this river. Let us gather one by one. You got it. Oh, let us gather at this river. Let us gather one by one. Let us gather at this river. Let us gather one by one. Thank you all.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the beloved community at River of Grass Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are delighted to have you here on this beautiful, absolutely beautiful South Florida, what is it? It's August, summer morning. It's hard to keep track, trust me. Okay, so YouTube is streaming, so let's have our chalice lighter, Allie, begin our service by ringing our chimes. Thank you, Ellie. If you wish to follow along with the service, you can scan the QR code on the screen. Yes. Or go to riverofgrassuu.org and click on the order of service on the home page. We'll start our service today with the prelude. Prelude? Either. The music is an instrumental version of Walk Away Renee by the Four Tops and played by Aaron.
Definitely not the Four Tops. Definitely not the Four Tops. I can't remember this one. Anyway.
This beloved community, River of Grass Unitarian Universalist Congregation, is delighted that you're here with us this morning, both here in person and love streamed on YouTube Live. We celebrate all these ways to gather our beloved community in body and in spirit as we go and grow and flow the riverway. I'm Peter Fox. My pronouns are he and him, and I serve this congregation in more ways than I can think of and imagine. And if they ask, I show up, or at least I try to. But that's what we're all about, isn't it? So, our worship leader today is Reverend Nick Sanchez. We especially want to welcome visitors this morning. Welcome. We hope you'll stay for coffee and fellowship after the service, and if you haven't already, stop by our welcome table and let us know how we can stay in touch. You here in this room, we welcome you. You on love-streamed YouTube, we welcome you. However you made your way among us this morning, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let us pause together to enter into this time as we connect again with one another and with the holy by any name and the light of love within us all as we breathe into our time together. In this congregation, it is our mission to nurture our spirits, love intentionally, and work to create a just and healthy planet in our enduring search for truth, meaning, and faith. What we share here is not an unchanging dogma, but an affirmation that we are called to be agents of love and justice, and to build a world where everyone is cherished for who they are. River of Grass is an unapologetically progressive home for seekers of truth boldly told, love freely given, hope never failing, answering the call for peace and justice for all living things, and the earth, our home. Our congregation was intentionally named to lift up the place where we reside, the life-giving Florida Everglades, ancestral lands of the Tequesta and Calusa people whose memory we honor today. The Miccosukee tribe of Florida and the Seminole tribe of Florida are the present-day stewards of these ancestral lands. May we strive to live by their example. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas gave the poetic name River of Grass to the Everglades, and we honor her legacy by continuing to use her name. We open wide our doors and our hearts to you as you are, as we come together on this journey of transformation for ourselves and our world. May our sacred time together be one of caring, courage, transformation, and a call to action.
Friends, our call to worship this morning is Many Hopes in Our Hearts by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage. Welcome, beloveds, welcome. We come to spiritual community this morning with many hopes in our hearts. The hope for inspiration, the hope for comfort, the hope for renewal. In this time and space, may inspiration water our thirsty souls. In this time and space, may comfort blossom in the gardens of our hearts and bring us sweet relief. In this time and space, may renewal course through us, as electric as a surge of energy, as serene as a nourishing meal, as contagious as joy, and bring us vitality and rejuvenation. May our time together honor all the hopes that we hold within. May our time together bless us with the gifts of inspiration, comfort, and renewal. Let us worship together. Our opening music this morning is hymn number 131 in the gray hymnal, Love Will Guide Us, with words on the screen. Please rise in body and spirit as you are able and join us together in singing.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot sing before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
The flaming chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition, a beacon of religious liberty shining through generations, now ours to hold high. Our chalice lighter Allie will light our chalice for us this morning. Let us join in our voices together with these words by Rev Nick. We light this chalice to honor this moment, the work of the journey, the joy of arriving here, and the sacred breath that carries us forward. May the warmth and light of this flame fuel our compassion, guide our way toward justice and equity, and reflect our love back. In the light of love, let us renew our covenant as we say together, love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta congregación y el servicio es el principal. Esta es nuestra gran promesa, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad a través del amor y ayudarnos mutuamente. Our wisdom story this morning is Henry David Thoreau in the Woods by Kate Coombs and illustrated by Seth Mugas. It is read by Rev Nick.
How are we doing? I promise you this is not the full Henry David Thoreau in the Woods. This is the abridged children's version. This is one of Willow's favorites right now. What did Henry do? He went to the woods and built a little house on the edge of a pond. he made friends with a mouse. Henry studied clouds and looked in birds' nests. He hoed his beans. He whittled with guests. Henry saw ants battle. He saw circling hawks. He listened to bullfrogs, and he followed a fox. He swam with the dawn. He played flute for the fish. Henry watched the world. He wondered and wished. Then he wrote a book about his plain little house on the edge of a pond and his friend, the mouse. That's what Henry did. And that is the full Henry David Thoreau in the woods.
We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day.
We sustain and strengthen this beloved community and its work in our world through the gifts of our time, our skills, our love, and our money. Each Sunday, 50% of our undesignated gifts, offerings, go to LifeNet for Families, which provides meals, clothing, and support for those in need here in Broward County. The remainder supports our mission and ministry at River of Grass. Ushers, please come forward and to receive the offering. Thank you for these generous gifts.
Beloveds, we lift these things, spoken and unspoken, written and unwritten, asking that our hearts be seen even as we become seers of hearts, that we may serve one another and those beyond our walls with love and thankfulness today and every day. Amen, Amin, Amin, Aho, Ashe, Namaste, blessed be. May it be so, and so it is. Let's sing our musical response. The words are up on the screen.
For all that dwells below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung through every land by every tongue. Ah.
right. Well, good morning. We got a full house today.
Wait, who's this guy? Who is this guy?
It is really good to be here with you all. Good morning, beloveds. It is so good to be here. I am Reverend Nick Sanchez. My pronouns are he and L, and I am honored and delighted and just in awe to be here with you all today. You know, there are a lot of ways that a minister could begin their first sermon with a congregation. You can begin with a grand vision and lay out all of the hopes and dreams for the years ahead. You can tell everyone all of the wonderful things that we are going to accomplish together. And believe me, I have plenty of hopes and dreams. And at first, when I was planning today, I thought, oh, I'm going to talk about saying yes and finding our joy and embracing a life full of purpose and all of these wonderful dreams and hopes. And then, after seeing just how much work you all were doing the last year and a half, I thought, well, maybe we should do the flip side of that. Maybe I'll talk about our holy no, about the power and joy of saying no and taking a rest and taking a breath, and how no is a complete sentence, about how your no is just as important as saying yes. Friends, I could not decide how I was going to begin, and then one night, while reading a book, I started a new book, and it became clear to me. Because my first sermon was actually supposed to be next Sunday. This is kind of your bonus prequel sermon of sorts. And as I opened this book, I remembered most stories do not dive right in to chapter 1. Chapter 1 is rarely ever the beginning. There's usually an introduction, some acknowledgments, and a preface. And so that's what today is about. Today is a chance to preface our ministry together, to acknowledge the story that's behind the story and how the story came to be. It has some notes on language choices, some history, why the story is being written, who is it for, what it will be about. A preface sets us up to better understand what we are diving into. And also, it's a chance to take a breath, a pause, and really settle in and get comfortable before we dive into things. Now, when I was younger, I will admit, I always skipped the preface. I skipped the introduction, I skipped the whole front section, anything before chapter 1, just boom. And then boom, look, I'm already a quarter inch into the book. I must be a very fast reader. But friends, introductions are important. It was an important lesson that I learned in college. I will never forget. It was years ago now, and many, many years ago now. I was returning to Penn State in the spring of my sophomore year. I had a bad accident in the fall, and I was recovering from a pretty extensive spinal surgery. I was relearning how to walk and how to get my legs to do what I wanted them to do again. I was learning to handle pain and new realities of being. And with all that going on, of course, being a teenager, I decided that I wasn't going to take any extra time, and I was just going to go right back to school and dive right into my studies. So there I was, 19 years old, struggling on the snow and ice of the middle of Pennsylvania with my walker and my canes and trying to get to class on time, powering through these dense philosophy books, and I was just struggling. And normally an A student, I'm getting C's on papers and I'm missing exams, and it was absolutely disheartening. I was getting pretty depressed over it. So one day I caught one of my philosophy professors during their office hours, and I said, I don't get it. I'm attending the lectures, I'm reading the books, and I just don't get why I don't get it. And he said, quite frankly, you're reading the books? Yeah, I'm reading the books. The whole thing? Yes, the whole thing. Often I'm rereading paragraph after paragraph. I'm rereading page after page. I'm rereading chapter after chapter. And that's when something clicked. And he looked at me and he said, and you're starting with chapter 1, right? I said, of course I'm starting with chapter 1. What, am I supposed to start with the end? And he goes, Nick, he grabs the book off his desk. He says, you can't start with chapter 1. That's not where the work begins. And he opened it up. to the introduction. He said, the work starts here. This is the most critical part of the book. The preface is going to teach you all of the things you are missing. And I was taken aback because I thought, this is 40 pages of nonsense that I don't want to read. I want to get right into the good stuff. But I went home, I read the introduction, I read the preface, I looked over the table of contents, I even read the acknowledgments, and suddenly I got what I was missing. I had a clear understanding of how the author wrote and how they thought and how they were going to lay out their ideas and their arguments. And it was an important lesson, one that I wish that I had learned earlier, but one that I was grateful for, because I discovered that I was missing context. And that lesson was clear. It's not always just best to just jump right into things. So, this is our own preface. And what does it look like? What does it address? Well, I have some notes on language, like I said. I have some notes on tempo, some notes on who I am and who you are and who we are together as a community. Some notes on how we got here and some notes on where we might be going. So let's start with language, because I have come to understand language as a tool. And the words that I say are tools that I am using to try and convey an idea from my mind into yours. And the important word there is try, because I can choose my words very carefully. I can think about what I want to say. I can practice it. I can write it down. I can read it over and over again in anguish over semantics. And just like this very sermon, I may rewrite it 4 or 5 times. And then I say it out loud. And once those words leave my mouth, I don't actually get to decide what happens next. There's a quote from George Bernard Shaw that goes, "The single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place." Because we all bring our own experience to these words, our own history, our own beliefs, our own joys and wounds and definitions. And so I can say one thing, you can hear something entirely different. There's an old minister joke someone reminded me of. Oh, I wrote one sermon, but I preached 100. Because 100 different people will hear that message 100 different ways. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. Because when we speak to each other, there is this little act of translation that happens. So I'm going to do my best to be clear with you, but I also want to acknowledge that I cannot control what you hear. So I want to hear what you hear from me, what resonated with you and what lifts you up, but also what gives you the ick, what just does not sit right with you. And I'm going to ask for a little bit of grace with my language, because I'm going to speak with what I have come to think of as a living language of spirituality. And what I mean by that is sometimes I'm going to use a word like spirit. And you might hear me talk about the divine or the sacred. I might mention God or goddess or the universe. I might talk about the spirit of love or the spirit of life or the spirit of humanity. And I am not saying that all of those words mean exactly the same thing. What I am trying to do is speak towards some of the big, broad ideas that I think many of us encounter in our daily lives. The moments when we experience something that is larger than ourselves, that there are forces in our lives that call us towards love and towards justice, towards connection, towards transformation. That sometimes we encounter mystery or awe. Sometimes we encounter something that feels sacred to us, even if we can't begin to define exactly what that means. And so, if I use a word like God or spirit, I hope you will give yourself permission to translate it. Maybe your word is love, or the web of life, or the universe. Or maybe your word is something we haven't thought of yet. Maybe you have no word at all. And that's okay too. I'm not asking you to believe anything in particular when I use a particular word. That's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is for you to try and listen to the idea that's underneath it, to see if there is something important there that speaks to you, and I am going to do the same thing for you. Because if we are going to be a community together, we're going to have to learn how to interpret one another. Sometimes that might mean giving one another the gift of saying, I don't use that word myself, but I think I get what you mean. I think that's the part of what it means to speak a living language of faith, of spirituality. And the same thing is going to be true of the stories and the sources of wisdom that I bring here. You may hear me talk about a lesson from the Buddha, or a Jewish proverb, or something from the Tao Te Ching. You may hear me quote Jesus, not very often, but sometimes. You may hear me quote a poet, or a philosopher, or a scientist. I might tell you something that I learned from a fellow minister. And sometimes I'll tell you about something I learned from my daughter. And when I do that, I'm not telling you that any one tradition has the answers or is right. That would be a very strange thing for a UU minister to do. Instead, I am bringing to you the wisdom I have encountered and inviting you to encounter it too, to wrestle with it and to question it, to disagree with it, or to find something beautiful in it. Because I believe wholeheartedly in our value of pluralism, that wisdom isn't confined to one book or one tradition, one religion, one culture, or one type of person. Sometimes it is in a scripture, or a poem, or in science, or in music. Sometimes it's in a conversation with a stranger, or in the person sitting right next to you. Which means that if we are going to do this together, I hope we can practice listening for the wisdom that's underneath the words. We don't have to use the same language. We don't have to believe exactly the same things. Because one of the gifts of being part of a community is like this is that we don't come carrying the same dictionary, but we can learn each other's language. And maybe, if we're lucky, we can discover that sometimes we're using two different words to reach towards the same thing. Or we might discover that we're using the same word to mean something completely different. Because the goal is not for us to speak exactly the same language. The goal is for us to hear one another and to keep talking with one another, even when the translation gets a little messy. See, that to me is part of the beautiful work of building a beloved community together. And it is one of the most beautiful parts of this Unitarian Universalist faith. And the second thing I want to talk about is tempo. And I don't just mean how fast or how slow I'm talking up here, but that there is a particular temptation when something new begins. We want to get moving. We want to dive right into things. We want to figure out everything right away. And trust me, I am not immune to that temptation. My desk is covered in sticky notes right now after 1 month of being here, ideas and questions and all sorts of things that I am excited about and I want to do with you. There are certainly things in this world that deserve our urgency, that need our urgency, things that need our attention right now. There are moments when we need to act and act quickly, but urgency and hurry are not the same thing. We can be deeply, deeply committed to something without rushing through it. And I think that distinction is going to matter for us. Because the story that we are writing together is not one that we are meant to speed read. There is time to listen, time to learn, time to read the introduction and the preface, time to grieve what needs grieving and celebrate what deserves celebrating. There is time to take a breath, even in the middle of a service. And there is plenty of time to grow in the healthiest possible way that we can. We are people, after all, and people take time. Trust can take time. Change and growth can certainly take time. So I hope that when we begin this ministry together, as we begin this ministry together, we can find a tempo that allows us to be attentive to one another. Sometimes it might feel like we're moving fast. Sometimes it might feel like we are moving way too slow. And sometimes the most faithful thing that we can give one another is just to pause, take a breath, and move on. And I hope that we can be gracious with one another at all of those speeds. Because I do not want our measure of success to simply be how much we accomplish. I'd like it to be more about how are we becoming while we accomplish it. Are we becoming more connected, more courageous, more generous, more trusting, more curious? Are we more fully becoming the congregation that we want to be? Those things cannot be rushed. So yes, I have hopes and I have dreams, and I am so excited about all of the things that we might do and where we might go. But I'm also willing to take our time to get there. We have a whole story before us. We don't have to read the whole thing tonight. And that brings me to you, River of Grass, because before we can really talk about where we are going, we need to acknowledge something very simple. You were here first. This congregation has a story that began long before I got here. There are people sitting here who have been part of River of Grass for decades. And there are people who have only just now walked through the door. There are stories that I know and I have learned already, and many, many more that I do not. There are traditions whose origins I don't yet understand, but I'm willing to learn. There are things that you love about this place and things that you are still figuring out, and I want to hear about all of it. And in the last few weeks, I've already started asking questions. And I suspect I will keep asking those questions for quite some time. What brought you here? What keeps you here? What do you hope our congregation can become? What do you hope that it never loses? I don't expect everyone to give me the same answer. In fact, I hope that you don't. I do hope that we can remain curious about one another, that we can make room for one another. And so as I learn about this congregation and you learn about me, I hope you will remember this. You are not simply an audience for the ministry that happens here. The ministry is you. This is a conversation, and you are the most important part of it. So whatever this next chapter becomes, it will be shaped by the lives and the gifts and the questions and the hopes and the presence of all of the people here, including you online, and including you, especially you. Friends, a preface does not tell you whether or not the book is going to be good, but it does give you enough context to begin reading. So I don't know exactly what this next chapter will hold, although I am hopefully optimistic. But I do know that I am glad to be here with all of you. I know that I am grateful to start this journey together. And I know that I am ready to turn the page with you. So, River of Grass, this is our preface. And now, let's discover what comes next, together. Amen. Blessed be. And may it be so. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Our closing music today is hymn number 1064, a favorite of mine and I think many others, Blue Boat Home. Please rise in body or spirit as you are able or willing and join in singing together.
Below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Friends, our closing words today are entitled Changes Abound by Michelle Collins. I thought them especially appropriate for today. Changes abound around us, within us, and between us, in our communities, our neighborhoods, and our beloved faith communities. Changes abound. May we find the balance point we need as we move through our ever-changing world. The balance between the old and the new, between the known and the unknown, between the familiar and the perhaps bold and risky possibilities that we may be there waiting. Friends, we extinguish this flame today as we do each week, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
At River of Grass, we offer many ways to live our Unitarian Universalist faith in action. You'll find them in our weekly email, our Facebook page, and our website, riverofgrassuu.org. Here are some upcoming opportunities to fulfill the mission and vision of this congregation and other announcements for the life of this beloved community. Our river journey begins today with Reverend Nick Sanchez. Nick was slated to begin his ministry in September. We're delighted that he decided to start early, taking the helm for today's worship service. Before we begin, he said, I would like to add a preface to this ministry. A preface reminds us that beginnings are rarely as simple as they appear. So, won't you join me before we begin to add some context to our story to lay the groundwork and to better understand one another. As summer draws to a close, it's hard to believe, our UU children and youths wrap up a season of crafts. Our regular faith development classes resume in September. Please see our faith development director, Karen Gonzalez, or reach out to faithdevelopment@riverofgrassuu.org for more information. For our next month's service lineup, the monthly theme is beginnings/interdependence. September 6th will be Every New Beginning with Rev. Nick. September 13th, Bricks and Mortar, also Reverend Nick. September 20th, Take Me to the River. It's our water communion, multi-generational water communion with Rev. Nick. And September 27th, Interfaith, Interpersonal, Interdependent. The theme for our annual auction this year will be Rivers Got Talent. We can't wait to see what you have to offer in terms of books, artwork, poems, crafts, jewelry, and whatever else your creativity takes you. The event will be on Saturday, December 5th, starting at 6 p.m. at the Sunrise Lakes Condo Clubhouse on Nob Hill Road, just south of Oakland Park Boulevard. There will be food, dancing, and both live and silent auctions. See Kathy Jens Rockow after the service, or email her at kjensrockow@gmail.com. LifeNet for Families needs donations for all the people coming to its door for help. Items needed are deodorant, mini shampoos and conditioner, lotion, bar soaps of any size, toothbrushes, plastic raincoats and ponchos, men's belts and clothing, socks, underwear, t-shirts, shoes, toilet paper, small Kleenex packets, and diapers. And as always, non-perishable food. Please place your donations in the basket in the hallway. Brotherhood, a cinematic musical which uses song and story to highlight the relationship of a lifelong U.S. citizen and an immigrant seeking asylum, will be released to theaters in October. This coming Saturday, September 5th, you have a chance to participate in a live presentation by its creators and stars at the UU Congregation of Miami. You can register and get tickets at brotherhoodmovie.com/tour/dates. Let us pause a moment to remember the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, the largest demonstration in the history of the nation's capital on August 28, 1963. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King told the nation, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." UUs everywhere strive to make that dream come true. So, having said all that, we invite you to stay to enjoy coffee, great snacks, and fellowship the Riverway.
Friends, this is but the beginning of our story together, a story that we already find ourselves in the middle of. I am excited to write it together with you and in love. In these changing times, let us be all the more vigilant to hold before us a vision of a world transformed and dare to transform ourselves to make it so. Until we meet again, sayonara.